Hey, what's up and welcome back, treasure hunters. So I have a lot of treasures to go over with you. I'm going to do this in two parts because if I did it in one, I think it would be way too long. So we're going to do it in two parts. I am going to mix in a couple auction items that I got. Some were local estate auctions, some were online estate auctions, but I'm going to mix them in. There's going to be probably 3 or 4 mixed in this video. So let's see if you can spot those. And also let's see if you can estimate how much these treasures may be worth when I resell them. So far, summer has been pretty busy. I've been doing a lot of stuff with the kids, trying to get out of my little dungeon down here and, get some sun and do some fun things with the kids. So that's why I haven't posted a video in a while. But now that we got a rainy day here in Ohio, so it's time to get into some of these treasures that I gotten from thrift stores, even a garage sale, and also some local estate auctions and online estate auctions. So let's get into it. So here's the first thing I got. And I'm not going to pause and stuff, but I'll tell you where I got each thing at the end when I'm done explaining why I got it and what caught my eye and all that. So while I'm explaining things, just in your mind, try to figure out, did I get it at Goodwill or another thrift store, or did I get it at an auction? Here's the first piece. Really nicely painted Navajo vase. It does have a signature and it says Navajo right there. I don't know the signature. I did try to look it up. I can't read it. I tried to do a bunch of different searches and didn't find anything. I think there are a lot of artists that do this type of work, especially for like tourists and stuff that visit, the Southwest and all those states. But it's really cool. It does have some incising on these feathers, and the rest is hand painted. Just wolves running through the snow, some pine trees in the back, and of course the moon here and the wolf howling at the moon. Pretty cool. Just Navajo vase. I've seen these before. I have sold a couple of these, and I picked this up for like a couple bucks. These things are usually really inexpensive unless the people at the thrift store realize like how quick they go, then they may raise the price. But this is only a couple bucks. Got it at a Goodwill, and I should be able to sell this anywhere from 30 to 40 bucks is kind of the going rate. If I knew who did it and if they were some kind of noticeable figure that does these kind of pottery pieces, might be worth more, but I haven't found anything, so I listed this I think for around 35 or 40. So next thing I found is this music box here, and when I saw this, I see music boxes every once in a while. Most of the time they're cheap. They have cheap movements inside, or cheap mechanisms, and they're just made in China or whatever. But this one on the bottom, it says made in Italy. And one thing I always look for with music boxes, I don't know a whole lot, but I do know Resell is, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but they are Swiss and they make movements and stuff. So their movements are actually pretty quality. This does have some inlaid flowers on the top. There's a couple cracks in like the glaze, but that tends to happen. It didn't come with a key. It does have a lock, but the most important thing is that this actually works. So if I wind it up a couple times, there's just a little switch here that will shut it off when you close the lid. But that's the most important thing, that if you see a music box, you got to make sure it at least works, because repairing these things can be pretty difficult. So just make sure it's in good condition, that it has a quality movement inside. And I did look these up, and there's actually, this song here says Color My World. There were same looking music box on the outside that I saw online that actually had the Godfather, theme song or whatever. And those are actually going for a lot more. So what the music box plays actually does matter. Those were going for like a couple $100. These ones, go anywhere from $100 to $125, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. But I got this for $6.99 at Goodwill, and it was a pretty cool find. And I should be able to sell this pretty quick. It's all in good condition and still works. So the next piece, I actually got 4 of these pieces. These are paper cut art. I got 2 pieces with these Victorian figures. Here's the other one. And 2 other pieces I'll show you in a minute. But these obviously go together. They're just very finely cut paper on white, like off-white background. And there's no markings or anything like that. You can see on the back, you just have a little hanger. But there are 4 of these that were just sitting at Goodwill for like $2.75 a piece. Looked them up online, and they were going anywhere from $25 to $40 for one of these. And seeing that I got a pair of each, that's always a good thing. So here are the other 2 pieces that I got. They're just both clipper ships, kind of in a different position. Piece one here, and here's the other one. So they're all in the same frames, all of the same matting. They're just, kind of paired up in the subject matter. I saw these. I have sold. I think it's pronounced Sernschnitt or something like that. It's a German word for paper cut art. But these are really finely done. You can tell if you look closely, like all those little, like the cargo net and behind the sails and the clouds and all that stuff, all that's cut paper. So it takes a very steady hand and, a skillful artist here to complete these to make them look really good. For all 4, pieces, I spent, I don't know, under $12. And I have each pair listed for $75 right now with free shipping. So we'll see how that goes, but definitely a cool find. So here's the next thing I found, and this is a watercolor, and this is of St. Petersburg, and it says the Church of the Resurrection of Christ, Savior of the Blood. That's the, title or description. I picked this up for under $3 at a Savers actually, and it's professionally framed. You can see on the back, it's got the wire hanging, and frame is nice. It's double matted, and then this is signed O'Malley, and I didn't know that when I first bought it. I just saw this and could tell it was an original watercolor, and for only like $2 or $2.50 or whatever it was. Definitely always worth picking stuff like this up, especially religious stuff. I've sold a lot of religious things. If it's really quality and nice, it actually, like those kind of Christian religious stuff actually sells really well. Couple bucks, very detailed. Color is really, really nicely done inside, like the, the small parts of the cathedral and towers and everything else. I did look up, I don't know O'Malley's first name. I did see a lot of similar, like smaller watercolors done by someone named O'Malley. And, they were selling anywhere from 100 to 150, maybe 75 to 150. Definitely a good investment for only $275, $250. Here's another piece of art that I picked up, and I actually got this piece at a garage sale, and it was a couple bucks, but it's an older etching. It is hand signed in pencil down here. You can tell it's an etching just because of the outline. I don't know if you can see the imprint from the plate. That's always a really good indicator. I have seen before etchings that are even colored to look like there's an indentation from the plate. So you got to watch for that, because there are reproductions of, especially like iCart, like his work. I've seen a lot of stuff that is made to look like an actual etching, but it's just a print. This is signed Rudolph Viet. It's pretty easy to read. And I just did, a quick Google search and saw that his work sells, in the $150 to $300 range, depending on the size and the quality. Picked this up at the garage sale for, I think it was like $3 or $4, and should definitely be able to make a real nice profit off of this. Anytime I see like a thin vintage frame like this with an etching inside that's hand signed in pencil, it's always a good idea to check the price and see if you can find out who made these, because you will undoubtedly be able to make a profit if it's cheap enough. So here's another piece that I picked up. This one is an actual print and very detailed, nicely done. In Ohio, for obvious reasons, I do find a lot of Amish type scenery like this. And we're real close, like I'm not real close, but I'm close enough to some very large like Amish communities that I do see work now and then that either old photographs, vintage photographs, artwork like this, etchings or whatever it might be. This one was done by Donald Bonsella, and it is numbered out of 450, signed in pencil and numbered down here, and professionally framed, obviously from a gallery or something similar, and it just says the Geauga County Collection. This was priced for $5 and some change. I just did a quick search and found that his work sells in, again, the $125 to $250 range, probably for this size, and a lot more for his larger pieces. So it's in super good condition, professionally framed in a nice, expensive frame, and it's numbered out of 450. So easy buy here, and I should be able to sell this fairly quickly. So here's the next piece of art that I picked up. If you've seen my videos before, you've probably, at least seen half of the videos. I don't know, some sort of number of videos. I've had these on here for my thrift store finds by this artist numerous times, I have to say. This is by Pat Buckley Moss. I've found probably 5 or 6 of her pieces, like limited edition lithographs that are, hand signed. And most of them, again, are Amish, but I even found one that had manatees. So she's very well known. She has a certain style and very collectible. Anytime I see her work out there, usually when I do, it's priced really low, around $5, like this one was. I always pick it up because I know that I'll be able to sell it for at least $75 to $100, depending on how big it is and how nice the frame is and whatever else. But this one was done by, looks like an art consultant. It says custom framing, and in Pennsylvania down here. It's definitely something that somebody, paid some money to have this custom framed. It's numbered out of 1,000, signed down here, and dated 86. And it's just an Amish lady and her little boy walking in this snowy landscape. So the next piece I'm gonna show you, I'm just gonna show you pictures because it is a really large painting. So this painting here was done by Gordon Muck, and it's a watercolor painting, very large, professionally framed, really nice, kind of a abstract, I don't know, looks kind of like a shoreline landscape or whatever. But I actually got this at a local estate auction. There were numerous pieces of art, and I ended up forgetting when this auction actually ended, but I had put in previous bids for numerous pieces, And this was actually one of the pieces that I put a bid in for. I won this for $1. It was not identified. It wasn't even really labeled as a watercolor painting or anything. I didn't really know who made it or whatever else, but I saw it and could tell it was an actual painting. So I just said, okay, well, I'll bid the minimum. You know, that's the lowest you can bid is $1. And I think I bid like a couple bucks and ended up winning it for $1. Came home and ended up deciphering the signature and found that Gordon Muck's work is actually really valuable. You know, this is obviously a larger piece. It could sell anywhere from, I mean, I would honestly take any amount of money that was even close to what it's worth just because I paid $1 for it. Didn't have to pay shipping, but his work sells, this piece should sell at auction anywhere from $600 to $1,000, which is pretty nuts. But anytime I see like local estate auctions and they have pieces that are unidentified, a lot of pieces that are unidentified, especially like artwork, I'll always, like if I'm already making the trip out there, I already knew I was because there were pieces that I had bid enough that I was pretty certain that I would win. When you're already making the trip out there to pick something up, I just bid the minimum on a whole bunch of things because if I win it for $1, like who cares if I just throw it away? You know, like it's just, you may be able to grab something like this for extremely cheap and you're already making the trip out there to pick something else up. So why not do it? So that's just a quick tip. Like if you're bidding on things from a local, you know, estate auction or something like that, or a estate sale that, you know, you're already making the trip out there, might as well pick some other stuff up. So that's what I did with this piece. So I actually got 5 pieces of art from this estate auction. My total was $52, and one of the pieces was actually identified. I paid $40 for one piece. So I got 4 other pieces of art for like 12 bucks. Just by doing that like minimum bidding on stuff that, you know, nobody seemingly wanted. So definitely a cool find here. I'll probably price this around $900 to $1,000. See if I get any bids, and I'll be obviously happy to take any offers that are lower. This is an antique oil painting on canvas and very nicely done. This is actually in super good condition, like the actual paint. There's no flaking or cracking or anything, which is pretty crazy. But I picked this up at Salvation Army for $12.99. It's in an original frame, nice hefty wood frame. It is missing a couple pieces over on this side of the detail, but that's kind of not a big deal, especially for a piece this old. This is probably late 19th, early 20th century. And here you can see, as soon as I actually saw the back of this first, I got real excited. But you can see how dark the canvas is. It's got a high quality patch here, and the frame itself is very dark. There are nails holding the canvas, and besides that little missing ornate detail part on the frame, it's in really good condition. So I will always pick up pieces like this when I find them at the thrift store, because I know I'll be able to make a profit. Unfortunately, I think this might be signed, but it's down in this corner and I can't make it out. There's nothing that I could really do to figure out. I tried different lighting, different angles and everything else. And so this is just going to go as either a legible signature or unsigned, but for 13 bucks, this was an absolute steal. The frame's worth probably, you know, 5 or 6 times that. And I actually had a recent call with Dr. Lori, and she gave me an appraisal estimate for this piece around $500. So that's what I'm going to list it for and see if I can sell it. Appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out the video. And if you have any questions, obviously leave them in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video and my other content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Anybody that might get some enjoyment or some knowledge out of it.